Yo, 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 happy day, happy day. Can y'all hear me okay? Let's see if y'all can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Sound check, mic check. Let's see. All right, bet. We're gonna rock the ear pods in. We're gonna try a new thing today. Go live from inside. Do a live stream from inside. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. This live stream is titled Why the World Hates Africa and African Americans. Why the world hates Africa and African Americans, and how time is up. Time is up for Babylon, y'all. Time is up for Babylon. I want to see if a couple of y'all can get in here real quick before I start. Okay. We're gonna see if we could get in here and get this live stream popping. So what's up? Shout out to whoever in the live stream right now. Much love to you. Let me wet my beak real quick. Wet my whistle so we can go on in and do this thing. All right. We're gonna be reading from scriptures, of course. And I got some real cool stuff up. Let me see how that looks on screen. It looks backwards, don't it? That's backward. So this might be difficult, but it's backwards. But we're gonna make it go. I had to draw Africa ahead of time so that I could get everything together and make sure I had it ready to go. I also got one of my favorite copies of the Bible. It's called the Original African Heritage Edition. Did y'all know that existed? Did y'all know that there is a Bible called the Original African Heritage Edition? Did y'all know that? But we about to get into it. All right, we about to get into it for real, for real. It's hot out here right now, so I might get up and go grab some paper towels for my face in a little while. But I hope y'all having a blessed day today. I hope everybody's feeling great, feeling good. Let me get my marker right here. Yeah. So let's just get straight on into it. Whoever gonna join. This video will be up for future edification, future reference. It's all good, no love lost whatsoever. But basically, like I said in the title, why the world hates Africa and so-called African Americans, right? Time is up. Time is up. All right. Why is the world running crazy right now? What inspired this video, this live stream actually, was something that I read about Elon Musk. And anytime we look at these guys, these ladies who are doing these billion-dollar corporate purchases and dumping all this stocks and all of this type of thing in today's day, I want you all to remember if there's a pattern, just like on YouTube and just like on Facebook, how we have algorithms, right? We have these algorithms. We have things that take place behind the scenes that correlate with viewership, listenership, and sometimes it's robotic. Sometimes it's manipulated by the folks in the back end of these websites. Okay, so in other words, yeah, you might see your favorite music video have 1 million streams on it. On the front end, it says million streams, 10,000 likes, and this and that, right? But that could be affected by the back end. The algorithm could be affected by the back end, or the data, the metadata that's associated with that video can be manipulated from behind scenes to make a video that really only got 5 views look like it got a million. And it could also make a video that got a million views in reality look like it only got five. Okay, so the algorithms can be manipulated from the back end. So this is something that I want you all to take note of as we do this study, right? And whenever we deal with folks that are in these billion-dollar circles, these CEOs, there used to be a day when they would be celebrated by all people for the most part. It would be a rare, very small number of individuals who would kind of side eye these people and figure that they was up to no good, right? Well, today you have a lot of blind followers. I know when I mentioned Elon Musk, this is a guy who has, I don't know how many followers, but I know it's a lot. And I know he influences many people through his tweets and through the different things that he says. I know that he can say he's going to invest in a company and the stocks for that company will shoot up. Now, I don't know if that's against the law or what, but I know because he's the world's richest man, quote unquote, that whenever he makes a statement like that, people who are looking in investment circles and those sorts of people, they will listen to him and they will invest large amounts of money into whatever he says he's going to purchase or any stock that he says is a good idea to invest in, right? Any stock that he shows interest in. And likewise, if he backs out from purchasing a company or he backs out from a certain company as far as stocks and he begins to sell stocks, his offloading of those stocks will affect the company, and many people will pull their stocks from that company and begin selling with him uh, to dump their stocks. So companies can crash just based off of Elon Musk, one man stating if he's going to purchase a company or not. But what I find the most interesting about this guy is his ability to make what seem to be off kilter statements, really oddball like statements, and people kind of take it for a joke. People take it as if, it's one of these sorts of things where, he is just playing around with folks, just trying to see what the water temperature is, what the temperature is. And when it comes to a guy like that with so much influence, it's what they don't say that I would pay attention to the most. It's what they kind of skirt over and ignore is what I would pay attention to the most, right? And one thing, excuse me, mm, I got this new hair oil in my hair. If I rub my eyes, it's gonna get me. All right, I'll be forgetting. So, um, one thing that struck me as odd, well, not me personally, but odd just in how people won't pay attention to it, is that Elon Musk has made many statements stating that he's selling almost all physical possessions and will own no house. Okay. So in 2020, Elon Musk said that, and I quote, selling almost all physical possessions and, quote, will own no house. And most people make fun of him about that. They seem to think he's on some philanthropy uh, hype where, oh yeah, well, he's the world richest man. So what do you get the world's richest man or the man that has everything, type of responses, or he's the world richest man and he doesn't have to prove his worth by having $100 million house, a big old mansion. So we should probably support him in that. The article that really got me lately about this was his mother being invited to his compound, which is not really a compound. I'm talking about the whole SpaceX headquarters down in Texas, right? And his mother came out, supposedly some ex supermodel, right? And she comes out and she stays with him. And there's a big deal about this because he doesn't have a large home, right? Shalom, family. Shalom. All right, we in the building for sure, for sure. It's gonna be a good one, y'all. It's gonna be a good one. I'm getting to it right now. I'm getting to it right now. I hope that the feed is coming through good, and I hope that it's no buffering. And I hope that y'all can hear me well. Okay, we gonna switch it up a little bit and bring it inside. But one thing that got me about this most recent article pertaining to Elon Musk was that his mother made a statement about how she come to visit him and that she has to stay in his garage at his home. Now, the catch with this home is a home is a home, a shelter is a shelter. But when we talking about the world's richest man, so-called, people expect certain things, right? Well, people also look at Elon Musk as being smart, okay? Uh, I think he's just well informed and he's in position to make certain moves, but I don't think he's that smart because if he was that smart, he would speak out like I'm finna do right now. And he would really speak up about the things that matter on earth. Instead, he's one of the devil's minions. And so that's why he's been propped up, you know. Like I said in the live stream before, every generation has their minion face of representation, if I may. Uh, the millennials have Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, he's the minion for our generation. Then you have the baby boom, or excuse me, then you have Generation X. Okay, their face of minionship is Elon Musk. Okay, then you have the baby boomers. The baby boomers' face of minionship is Bill Gates. Okay, then you have the older folks. The older folks, their face of minionship is Warren Buffett. Now, I think you all see a trend here, right? They're all so-called white guys, right? And at one point or another, they all was considered the world's richest at something, right? Check. This isn't by accident. All right. Now, what I'm about to say, it doesn't have anything to do with race. I don't ever want my messages to be construed with race because, you know, when we start talking about race from the standpoint of the race baiting that I spoke on the other day, stopping. Oh, it's buffering, huh? Oh, okay. Oh, it's stopping buffering. So it stopped buffering. All right, well, we gonna see. Let's just push through. Hopefully everything goes smooth, man. On my side, it looked like it's cool. All right, so we gonna see what it do. We gonna see what it do. Hopefully it's cool on y'all side, because y'all side matter the most to me. All right, so every generation have its face of minionship. Let's see. Sounds good to me. All right. Come on. Let's rock and roll. This gonna be a doozy. This gonna be a good one. So every face of minionship has its representative here in our generation, primarily headquartered in America, the United States, and they all represent certain industry. They all represent corporate entities, and they all represent Satan, whether we want to recognize that or not. Okay, yeah, whether we want to recognize that or not, they all represent the wicked one. Okay, and this is why I said Elon Musk, he has the perception of being smart, but I don't think he's that smart. If he was smart, he'd be doing like us. You know, he would be crying out loud. He would be speaking the truth to whoever gave him window of opportunity to, you know, he would really be decrying uh, what's going on right now. Instead, he's being used by the devil to create uh, inventions like Neuralink, which will be a mark of the beast implementation invention that goes inside of the brain, right behind the ear, and it's going to be implanted. It's already been implanted on people's brains, and it's an interlinking device that works with the web, that works with Wi-Fi, that works as Bluetooth technology. So this dude is already gone. You know, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the first to have his that Neuralink in his brain, and that's why he talks so erratically. If you really listen to Elon Musk, he be trying to sound smart, but he sound like he don't really know what he wants to say, you know. So just check it out next time you hear him talk. All right, he speaks in very sporadic sentences when you hear him talk, and it's always like he's trying to hide something or keep himself from saying something that he knows, and that's not difficult to do when you're in the public space. You know what I'm saying? But what am I bringing him up for? Well, like I said, he's the face of the wicked brotherhood. Okay, he's one of the main faces as their wealthiest man on the surface. His influence is very great. And so when he makes statements like, oh, I'm not gonna, once again, quote, I'm selling almost all physical possessions and will own no house. Why is the world richest man saying that? Do y'all remember the video that I did about Will Smith, the dumbs, and Bill Gates? Will Smith, the deep underground military bases, and Bill Gates. Do y'all remember that video? Well, this has everything to do with that and some. You see, Elon Musk, he's a part of that know it all group. And when I say know it all, right on, family. When I say know it all, I don't mean know it all like a genius, like he's smart. I mean know it all as far as intel, as far as information that's hidden from the mass public, so that influences can come from these individuals toward mainstream society, while at the same time they go this way with whatever they got cooking. Okay. Now, when I look at a guy like Elon Musk again, who doesn't have any possessions or he's selling all his physical possessions, I have to ask myself why. Now, I know the answer. The reason for this is he knows what's coming. And as the world's richest man, he's been lied to by the devil, and the devil has made him believe. Now I know, just hear me out. I don't know who's gonna see this video. I don't know who's gonna see this live stream when it's done. I don't be knowing these things. Like I tell you all the time, I pray before I get on here. And I ask for the Most High to guide my thinking, my mind, my words, so that I speak clearly, fluently, so that I deliver the message that need to be delivered. Okay, that's what I do. So I don't know who's gonna get this, but the reason that this is important is because whenever a guy like this makes statements about not owning physical possessions, okay, or not owning a house, antennas should be going up all over the place, because that guy knows that he and the rest of his cronies have to go into hiding. Okay. Now, because they rock with the devil got them believing that they gonna be able to go into hiding and then get out of this thing with all their paper, all their bread, with all of their assets. And see, that's why I say that dude is not smart at all. And the guys like him, the ladies like him, are not smart at all, but they believe the lie. Okay, they believe a lie. Not only have they inherited the lies of their fathers, but the inheritance of the lies has primed them. Those genetic lies have primed them to now believe the lie of the wicked one. And because the wicked one don't have no good for nobody, the wicked one job is to take as many souls as it can. Okay, because the wicked one, the devil, Satan, the adversary, Hashatan, knows that its time is almost up. Okay. Now, this is very important, y'all, to remember, because it's going to segue into why the world hates Africa. Okay. Now, I'm very, very aware of certain Hebrew Israelite circles who don't want nothing to do with Africa. I'm very aware of that, just like I'm very aware of certain groups in the United States who want to identify as original, origine, aborigine, indigenous to this place. And there's truth to that as well. Okay. But what I want to talk about is not really how we got here uh, to this particular country, because when you do the diligence in the book of Genesis, you'll see that we are all descendants of Shem, right? All of the Israelites, Hebrew people, period, are descendants of Shem. And then Shem had a son named Eber. Okay, now Eber, he is the one where the word Hebrew comes from. Okay, so a lot of us don't like to deal with that part of the truth, where we realize, okay, yeah, the Hebrew Israelites are one family of Hebrew people, but there are many different Hebrew sects. Okay, like, as much as we don't like to admit it, the Edomites are Hebrew. Okay, the Edomites are Hebrew. As much as we might not like to admit it, the Arabs are Hebrew. Okay, so when we look at these things, and that's just an example, when we look at what it means to actually be Hebrew, we have to begin to look at that the Hebrew family, is very expansive and it's very large. And when we begin to look at it from that perspective, we can then do the due diligence to see from where we were scattered from. You know what? It just hit me. Let me go to the book of Jeremiah real quick, because, like I said, time is almost up, right? 70 years of captivity is right where I just went to, y'all. But that ain't what I wanted to get at. I want a particular verse I want a particular verse. Let me see. What do I want? Uh, what do I want? Okay. Uh, all right. I want Jeremiah chapter 29, and I want starting at verse 11. Okay, let me get my note real quick. Let me get my note real quick. I'm gonna get back to that one, y'all. But you could go all there with me right now. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I'm gonna get back to that in a couple seconds, in a few minutes. So, what's happening right now is we have to know where we come from. And the one thing about knowing where we come from is that we have to not be biased. It's not good to be biased. And when you understand and understand where we come from, how we were scattered, and not only how we were scattered, but how we dispersed at certain timelines of our history, then it will make more sense to you why certain things are the way they are, as far as mainstream media not talking about certain things, why certain things are hid from us, okay, and why there's a lot of misinformation and redirection when it comes to the truth and how we need to receive it. So, because this guy Elon Musk and guys like Bill Gates and all these guys, they got intel from the shadow government. If you look at the thumbnail, you'll see that I laid it out with a some sort of forum, right? There's some sort of forum, and I thought that was an interesting shot too, interesting picture, image, because they're sitting around a flat table, and the image on the table is one of those light tables, right? But the silhouette is of these seven continents where we live and reside right now. And it's not on a circular globe, is it? It's on a flat surface, right? It looks something like, excuse me, it's flat, like this coaster, right? And all of the imagery is in there, in the coaster. Well, not the coaster, on the table. So, what's the point of this? There's all sorts of hidden messages and hidden images that will paint a picture of what we need to focus on if we know how to focus on it. And there's another quote by Elon Musk's mother. So when she was asked why she doesn't mind living in a garage and going to a garage to stay with him, she said, quote, in a Times UK interview, when asked in a Times UK interview if Elon was interested in material possessions, May Musk, his mother, said, no, not at all in that sense. Very vague statement, right? What in the world does that mean? No, not at all in that sense. Huh? What do they know that the rest of us don't know? Well, they're in league with the devil. I got to keep on telling y'all this. They in league with the devil. And yes, they have some intel as well. They know that this plane up here is getting ready to shut down. They know that the civilization as we know it is almost out, y'all. Now, what good does this do any of us if we are not balling like them, if we're not rich like them to be able to shake and move the way that they do? What's the point of your bruh True you getting up here telling you this? Well, I know y'all that rock with the channel and support me. I know that y'all are already, a lot of y'all are already privy to this information. But your bruh gets up here to confirm, okay? So that when we on our daily walks, right? And you get to talking to somebody, they ask you why you walk the way you walk, or why you talk the way you talk, or why you don't do certain things, why you not out here wilding out, why you not out here acting a fool, why you seem to be standing upright and doing this, because they want to know what's really going on, but they also would like to call you crazy for doing what you're doing. When you tell somebody you a Hebrew Israelite and they not in this truth like this and they don't know, they're gonna give you a look like, huh? Even the pastors and preachers within our own communities. Okay, the elders, the pastors and preachers in our own communities, the deacons, they will look at you like you boo-boo the fool. You really lump and don't know no better. But you have to be able to stand strong in this. So your bruh true Jew is rocking with you. And I just, as I rock with the most high, we rock with the most high, but I'm rocking with you as your brother so that You might have had a long day today trying to get at these folks and tell them what's real. And then that enemy get to getting around you and saying, nah, bro, you might be wrong. You might not be right. Because everybody not listening. So am I telling the truth? And then you see your bro TheRealTrueJu get on here and say something that you were saying earlier, and it's a confirmation in your walk. That's all. Now that's for y'all. Now, for those of us who have never seen this channel before, those of us who really are on the fence with this information, it helps to keep on putting information out like this, not to try to coerce nobody, not to try to flip nobody's switch and have them, rocking on this side, because the truth is going to be revealed. Period. The truth is going to be revealed. Period. And let me get to Daniel real quick, the book of Daniel real quick, because the truth is going to be revealed. Period, y'all. That's not the point. The point is to stand strong and stand firm in the truth. Okay, to stand firm in the truth and to be a light for all of our folks that need inspiration, motivation, and need to hear of this truth so that they could keep on going. All right. Daniel 12, verse 4 tells us straight up, just like this. And I don't know if y'all seen the other Bible I'm going to be working out of, but I'm going to show y'all something real cool in a minute. Because I don't know if y'all heard about this Bible. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4 tells us just like this. But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. This is what Elon Musk and the rest of the elites know, so-called elites know. The end of the civilization is here, the time is up, and truth is being dispensed all four corners of the world, left and right. But there are still elements of truth that have not been accepted, and that is what they are using to leverage their time. Okay? Now, it's videos like this, live streams like this, which will bring truth to light and end their reign a lot sooner. Now, look, I want to show y'all something. King James Version, right? But check this out. Hold on, let's get the link. This is the original African Heritage Edition. Did y'all know about that Bible? This is the original African Heritage Edition. Now, I don't want to hear some of y'all, brother, you mean to tell me they got a Bible for the African folks now that's going to try to brainwash them into Christianity and get them away from traditional African spirituality and this and that? Actually, no, bruh. No, sis. This is where we've been duped, especially as so-called African Americans. All right. As we begin to realize who we are, well, we have to realize that we come from some place. Now, the world has lied to us and made us feel so low when it comes to Africa. The world has lied to us and made us hate our home because we hate ourselves. Why do we hate ourselves? Because many of us subconsciously know that we are in a situation as the tail of society that we do not want to be in. We would give anything to be the head of society right now. Even our brothers and sisters who erroneously sell their soul just to try to get ahead. When they sell their soul and they done selling their soul, they realize it was all a lie. Soul is gone. They only got a few trinkets to deal with. Like Kanye West said, what he say? He sold a soul for a happy meal. What he say? He sold a soul for a happy meal. At least it came with a few toys. Or he said he sold a soul. He said he sold a soul. It was a crappy deal. At least it came with a few toys like a happy meal. And why is the brother running around here crazy right now, going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Look at what's going on, y'all. Our people are still selling their soul left and right because they have believed the lie too. And instead of returning back to the truth, instead of having every reason to turn back to the truth, they've had every excuse that you could think of in the book as to why they shouldn't. Like a happy meal. Yes, Israel, Judah. So you heard that before too. I know I wasn't the only one. And it made me sad. It made me sad to think about how that brother did what he did to get to that position to confirm that he sold his soul by getting rid of his mama. Because we all know that's what happened. And now he's going crazy because of the things that he did just to try to become the head. Yes, the brother might be a billionaire, but how much of that can he actually spend on his own people? How much of that can he actually leverage while telling the truth in order to reposition all of us back into a truthful state. Because if Kanye say something, he's dang near up there with Elon Musk in influence. Okay, but instead he is painted as a crazy man, while Elon Musk is painted as a genius. Okay, so I just listen. Whenever I do these videos, y'all, I want to be set in stone right now. Your brother True not no hater. I got a partner from St. Louis that I used to rap with heavy named YP Young Prayers. Shout out to Young Prayers. And he out there from U City. All right, now check this out. This the thing about this. He dropped a line on me, a bar on me years ago. And we was having a deep discussion in the studio one evening. And he wrote this bar. He said, "You say you don't hate, but you hate the hater." You know, he got that St. Louis drawl. Okay, so he said, "You say you don't hate, but you hate the hater." And I was like, bruh, that's so heavy right there. That's so heavy right there. We say we don't hate. We not no player haters, right? But then we still hate the hater. So the job is to look at it like this. Let's try to look at it ah, from one of those cool perspectives where we don't have no blinders on, where we look at everything in front of us to the best of our ability so that we can make worthwhile decisions, worthwhile choices, worthwhile conclusions to things. All right. So, why did I bring up this African Heritage, original African Heritage Bible? Well, it's powerful because there are images in this Bible that you won't see in a normal King James. For instance, let me show you something. Excuse me. Let me show you something that's really cool. When you realize that the entire Bible took place in Africa, then your love and your respect for where you come from might be a little more easier to swallow, to accept. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. I don't even know if they make this Bible anymore, y'all. Let me put my bookmark in because I had First Peter hooked up for this study too. Let me show y'all something. This is how Paul is depicted in the original African Bible. Y'all see that? That's Paul. Hold on. Let me show you how Yahshua is depicted in the Ascension. This is Africa, Africa style, how it really happened. That's Yahshua in red. Or what about this? Hold on. What about this? Have y'all ever seen them images? Hold on. I ain't done. This Andrew and John, disciples. True Hebrew. Do y'all see why it's important to see yourself in the Bible? Hold on. I ain't done. This James and Jude. Hold on. James and Jude. Y'all see? Beards and all. Y'all see? Hold on, I ain't done. This Simon and this Matthew. Y'all see y'all yet? Y'all see us yet? See? Hold on, I ain't done. I'm not done. This Bartholomew and Peter. Y'all see why it's important to see yourself? I ain't done. I ain't done. Hold on. This Thomas and James. Y'all see that? I ain't done. I ain't done. Hold on. This Philip and Judas. This Judas right here with the yellow shawl on. I ain't done. I ain't done. Hold on. And this Yahshua. card falling out. I don't want to lose the spot. This Yahshua. Now, why was I compelled to show y'all this? Because if you don't see yourself in the Bible, now this is going for the people who will also see this live stream too, who never came across this channel before, who are so-called African Americans, who will see this title and see me talking about Africa, who still want to deal with African spiritual religions and traditional religions and of the sort. Now I'm gonna get on this too. I'm gonna get on all of this. Okay. The first thing you have to do is realize that everything in this book took place in Africa. One of the biggest things that got me about this book, especially from a European perspective, is that if you pay close attention to this book, you will realize that there are many narratives within the book that is an attack, a direct attack on African civilization. Okay? Whether it be coming from the Persians, whether it be coming from the Greeks, whether it be coming from the Romans, whether it be coming from modern day Babylon, the Babylonians, both in the past or today, it is always an attack on African people. And African people are the first mentioned in this Bible. I got to just put it out there just like that, okay? Whoever comes across this, I hope you are blessed by this live stream. I'm telling you right now, because it's gonna all make sense on why I said what I said. Why Africa is hated right now. Let's just get right to it. The reason Africa is hated is because Africa is all in this Bible. It is the African, so-called African people who are all in this Bible. And this Bible is based on an Afro-Semitic people named the Hebrew Israelites, who are the main characters of this Bible. Africa is hated because, like Yahshua said, if the world hates you, remember it hated me first. The world hates Africa because Yahshua is an African man who is Afro-Semitic, who lived and who, I don't be liking to say died like that, but who lived and allowed his body to stand sacrifice and be almost destroyed so that it could be brought back and have that victory over death, to show that the spirit of the Most High is immortal. That is why his body was wrapped in those fine linens and covered in herbs and almost mummified. That's why he was wrapped in the tomb the way he was. That is why when he was a young boy, and even when he was born, he was taken into Kemet. That is why when we see from 12 to 33, he disappears. From age 12 to 33, where was Yahshua? Yahshua was in Kemet, learning the ancient mysteries. Yahshua was in Hindustan, India, East India, learning the ancient mysteries. So by the time he was a fully grown man, he was adept in all of the world earth sciences so that he could then receive of the Holy Spirit, awaken fully as the Godhead. Yes, he was soaking up game so that he could awaken up fully with the full reflection of the Most High inside of him and complete the task that he was sent here for. Now, one thing that we have to realize about Africa is that the story was told in reverse. Now, earlier I showed y'all my whiteboard right here. Now, I'm not sure if it's backward or not, but for me, it's backward. When I look at it like this, it's not backward. But when I look at it on screen, it's backward. So I'm going to do my best. Right here, you know what? Let me do Mediterranean Sea. For Mediterranean Sea, I'm going to put MS. M.S. And then for Atlantic, I'm going to put A, O. And then for Indian Ocean, I'm going to put I, O. Just so we get, oops, I forgot Madagascar. All right. All right. So that's how it's going to look. All right. Now, when we hate Africa and we don't understand or understand where we're from, we're going to have a big problem. We're going to have a huge problem. Let me go into Jeremiah real quick. Remember good old Jeremiah? I was just bringing up Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah 29 tells us this. Y'all might not have peeped this before. But let me talk to you about Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. It starts off as a letter to the exiles. Okay? We are the exiles. Okay? We are the exiles of Judah and Israel, depending on what part of Africa you came from. Yes, brothers and sisters, I'm going to touch on that. We are part of Judah and Israel, or both, depending on how you got to America. Because many of us was already on this continent in the north, central, and south of America way before any conquistador, British, French, or English or Portuguese European came here. We was already here, y'all. Now, here's the kicker. We was also all in Africa. How did this happen? Modern history says that most African people that are of Hebrew stock, carefully now, y'all, did what was called a migration, but they don't call it a Hebrew migration because they don't want us to pinpoint that the African people are, well, some of the African people, a large majority of them, of us, are really the stock of Hebrew stock. This is all a play on to keeping us from knowing who we are. Okay. Now, what do I mean by this? In school, the most you might hear about this migration is called the Bantu expansion or the Bantu migration. How many of y'all have heard of that before? The Bantu migration. How many of y'all have heard of that? But how many of y'all realize that the Bantu migration is really the Exodus of the Bible? How many of y'all knew that? And the 40 years in the wilderness really took place in Africa, the main continent of Africa as we know it today. How many of y'all knew that? I'm about to show y'all something. But before I do, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, which was a letter to the exiles, stating this: For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Most High. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Most High, and will bring you back from your captivity. I will bring you back from your captivity. Where was we? Where was we? Where are we being held captive at now? Scattered all over the world, right? In all the nations of the world, right? Before I continue, what does that good book of Joel chapter 3 say? I will gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I will put them on trial for what they did to my inheritance, my people Israel, because they scattered my people among the nations and divided up my land. They cast lots, that means they had auctions for my people, and traded boys for prostitutes. They sold girls for wine to drink. Shame, shame, shame. Like Aretha Franklin say, shame, shame, shame. That's what I'm gonna say, but y'all know the song. Back in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 14. I will be found by you, declares the Most High, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Most High, and will bring you back. This is the key, y'all. And will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. Now, why is Africa so important? Why is it so important for us to realize our connection with Africa and why Africa is all in the Bible? Most of us, let me get it out now. Most of our ancestry in modern day America, where we were enslaved, came from right here. Today, this is known as West Africa. Now, I would say West Africa Minor, because I didn't circle the whole West Africa up here on purpose. Okay? Most of us came from right here. Oh, my marker ain't gonna give in on me, is it? We came from right here. Okay? Now, the Most High just told us in Jeremiah chapter 29, I will be found by you, declares the Most High, and will bring you back from your captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Most High, and will bring you back to the place from which I carried you exile. We were taken from East Africa. Either way it go, we were snatched up from Africa. We will be returned back to the places where we were captured from. Now, why would we be returned back to Africa if that's not where we was captured from? Now, this is why I said I want to also put that side note in there referring or regarding the lands of North, Central, and South America. Because many of us made our ways over here during the Bantu migrations and before that. Okay? And before. But here's the kicker. Many of us was also taken from here as well, from modern day the shores of America as well. But the difference is we was jumbled up from America to the Caribbean, to Mexico, to Veracruz, those places like that, into Brazil, into Guyana, into Suriname. These are the places where we were co-mingled on this side of the Western Hemisphere. Some of us were taken into Europe. Some of us were even taken back to the shores of Africa. But nonetheless, our progeny begins right here. Now, back in the 1800s, they did a horrible thing by trying to separate the mainland of Africa from what we now call the Middle East. Okay? And they did this in the form of the so-called Suez Canal that formed a line right here between Africa as we know it today and Northeast Africa of old. This is very important. This is one of the reasons many so-called, well, many Hebrew Israelite communities and camps have a hatred for Africa, because they simply don't understand the history pertaining to why Africa is so important and where we come from in Africa. I'm not done yet. One thing about Africa that's very peculiar to me. Now, y'all have to know, I have another channel called Gatekeeper Ministries. Gatekeeper Ministries, that took place, I want to say, in 2015. That channel was created back in 2015 after I was, let's see, since 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So let's say 8 years. 8 years in the truth. And when I say the truth, I'm talking about all of those years from childhood being in the Baptist church and essentially being lied to and being misdirected. And then coming out of all of that, knowing in my heart of hearts that something wasn't right about that situation. And then being brought into a place where I have a relationship with the Most High on the one, and I can begin to listen to the voice of the Most High and trust the intuition placed on my mind and my heart regarding those things that had already been told to me, but from a misdirection standpoint, so that I could finally look in the word for myself and see myself in it and see our people in it. And when that began to happen, that's when the truth began to increase within me exponentially. And that is also when I was called crazy. That is when I began to be called all these different things in the book that had to deal with this walk that was difficult at first. That's another reason I got this channel going, and the Most High got this channel going through me, because I know how difficult it is. And if our brothers and sisters who are still on this, who know it's difficult, who having a hard time, who's new to this truth, who've been called crazy, stupid, ignorant, don't know what you're talking about, brother. No, that ain't what the Bible is saying. Come back on the church, brother. No, all of our folks who know something ain't right, but who is on this walk now, we all need as much comfort. Hey, little one, We need as much comfort as we can possibly get. Now this cricket gonna jump in here on me, Jiminy Cricket. Now what that cricket mean? And ain't Jiminy Cricket the intuition of Pinocchio? Ain't Jiminy Cricket the one who say Pinocchio, think a happy thought or whatever it go, or however it go, right? Well, look, I got a cricket just jumping here on me just now, bounce down and want to jump on my bottle of water. Cause why I'm telling y'all the real, the cricket gonna remind you your intuition. Listen to that voice inside, because that's the voice of the Most High. Yeah, hey, bro, Carter, you know I got to flip it. You know I'm going, whatever happened, I'm gonna flip it over for the Most High. Okay, y'all know I'm gonna do it, but it got to make sense too. You know, I'm not gonna force nothing. It got to make sense. All jokes aside, it got to make sense. What's so important about Africa that we didn't realize as so-called African Americans is that, you know, once we began speaking this wicked language called English, all things went out the window as far as who we were. When we started taking on these English names, when we started taking on these English last names, when we started using this English language, yes, it's a worldwide language. Yes, we get that, but it's purely wicked. When we started speaking this way, where one word, gene, what gene you talking about? You talking about the genes I got on? You talking about gene the man? You talking about gene the woman? You talking about gene the DNA? I'm confused. Which genes you talking about? When we started dealing with that type of language, where it's not even no inflections in the words that are being spoken, but they all sound the same, that's when we should have knew something was up. And when we left our own languages alone, and when we left our own customs alone, when we left our culture alone, when we left everything that we knew alone in order to survive here, in order to live another day here, in order to try to teach our children, no, if we want to do this, well, we have to do it in secret until that secret began to get totally swept under the rug and we lost sight of who we were. And now we're living in this era right now. We're living in this time right now where we have to be reacclimated to the truth. We have to be reacclimated to our customs. We have to be reacclimated to who we is so that we can be returned back to greatness, so that we can go from the tail back to the head. And it's nothing that we're going to do in and of ourselves that's actually going to see us to get back to that point. That's the other thing. Most High just told us when we call on the Most High and come to pray to the Most High in Jeremiah 29, that's when the Most High gonna start listening again. When we seek and find and we seek with all of our hearts, that's when the Most High is gonna return us back to the place where we was made captive. Where was we made captive again? We was made captive primarily in Africa. Now, and everybody made captive over here, whether it was from the American, so-called American Indians that came over on the Bering Strait and met us over here, or whether we was already over here through the different migrations that we took, whether you want to say the migration of what's that, 713, 716, 713 BC, when we all left that Assyria area and came over here, you know, before during BC time, or you want to talk about coming over here with Mansa Musa's brother, okay? You got to remember the kingdoms, side note, kingdoms of Mali. No, Mansa Musa it was considered the richest man of all time, right? So we have Mansa Musa, who took over the throne for his brother. His brother was the original king of Mali, and he left to the west, because to the western hemisphere, because he knew our people was already over here. When they left, they had something, what, 26, 30 fleets of ships, and they left West Africa and came over to the western hemisphere. Are y'all familiar with their story? And they never went back. And that's what allowed Mansa Musa to stay on the throne, because his elder brother never went back. It's not that they died. Them brothers didn't die. They made it to the shores of what we now know as America, and they settled here in America. See, this is one thing our people got to realize. And we listen, I'm going to tear a piece of paper out my cherished notepad just for this example. I didn't think I was going to be touching on this right now. This is a bloodline. This is a bloodline. Now, I got a question for y'all. If I rip this bloodline in half, which side is older? Same bloodline, I just ripped it in half. Which one is older? They the same age. Okay? I'm gonna help you. They're the same age. No trick question. They the same age. If I take a bloodline and I separate it for any reason, and one side of it is over here and the other side of it is over here, how old is the bloodline? Now, I'm not tripping on the origin of the bloodline when it originally hit. I'm just tripping on the fact that once they were separated, they are still the same age. And this is what our people over here, especially those of us who deal with the whole indigenous American thing, and we was already over here, we need to pay attention to the bloodlines. Okay? It has already been proven, whether you like DNA or not, it's been proven that the E1B1A blood haplotype, paternal haplotype, is that of Jacob. Now, people ask, man, how you know that? How you know that if you ain't never found Jacob's body to be able to DNA test it? How you know that? Well, that's the funny thing about DNA. When you have a maternal haplogroup, a maternal bloodline, and a paternal, excuse me. Let me say it again. When you have a maternal bloodline, meaning the bloodline that's directly inherited from your mama, and you have a paternal bloodline, the bloodline that's directly inherited from your papa, those bloodlines go unbroken. What does that mean? That means that within me, I have two bloodlines. A mother blood. Now, this is the bloodline that's passed down, okay? From mama to mama to mama to mama to mama to mama to mama. Now, if that mama should have a son, in my case, I'm a mama's son. My maternal bloodline haplogroup is inherited by my mama, who got it from her mama, who got it from her mama. The catch is, because I'm a male, I don't pass that maternal bloodline on to any of my children. The bloodline that I pass on to my children is, because I'm a male, is my paternal bloodline. The bloodline that my daddy got. Okay? Now, we got to do a little reverse engineering on this. If we are the if we are the Hebrew Israelites, one of the things that we know we are the Hebrew Israelites for is because how we got to this place. And even if we was already in this place called America, what happened to us when the colonials came? What happened to us when those so-called Indians came and began to attack and go to war with us before the colonials came? What happened? We was enslaved. We was taken from our societies, from our civilizations, from our kingdoms, whether it be in Africa or whether in America. We was enslaved. That is one of the key indicators of who you are. And not only enslaved, but scattered all over the place. And not only scattered, but your customs, your traditions, your language, your way of life, your mannerisms would all be threatened and taken away and replaced with those of your captors and oppressors. This is how you know you a Hebrew Israelite. Ain't no other people on the face of the earth can fit all of those characteristics that I just indicated, and some. Another way you will know you a Hebrew Israelite, if you belong to those groups of people who are on society's lowest rung. If you are on society's lowest rung, you found yourself in the hood, you found yourself in the ghetto, you found yourself in the projects, you found yourself in the slums, you found yourself in a low place in society. That's how you know you a Hebrew Israelite too. And I guarantee you, all my brothers and sisters, that whether you don't know you Hebrew Israelite or not, you check off that list, and I guarantee you fit at least 5 out of 6 or the 7 of them, depending on what happened within the last generation or so of your family. Because some of our families did make some decisions. Some of our families did cry out to the Most High and was already beginning to be set apart. So an individual born in the 80s with an already set apart family might not have lived that sort of upbringing within the last 30 or 40 years. You see what I'm saying? So in all fairness. But that don't negate what your grandpappy and your grandmammy went through. That don't negate that. What did they go through? If you was born in the affluence and you a Hebrew Israelite, look at your grandmother and your grandfather and how was they raised? I bet you they was raised in the project. I bet you they was raised in the slum. I bet you they was raised in the ghetto. I bet you. I bet you. And it's the decisions they made to get back right with the Most High, Mama and Papa. If they didn't sell their soul, that is. If they didn't Do nothing strange for a little piece of change, that is, to get you where you was at now. But let's get back, because it's all got something to do with everything I'm talking about. It's all related. But I have to be fair, and I have to bring up both sides of the pond, like they say, so that our indigenous brothers and sisters here don't feel as though, okay, well, you talking about the Bible being an African book. What did that got to do with me then? When you got to understand that somebody in your family migrated from that continent. Or, like I mentioned earlier about the world, remember in the book of Genesis, we talk about the world splitting up in the days of Peleg. Okay. Now, when you know about the days of Peleg, you know that Shem was already on the world. And the bloodline, the Hebrew bloodline, was already being established. It was already established. So this is something else that y'all got to realize. Let's just say that bloodline, the original Hebrew bloodline, separated in the days of Peleg and floated across. Here go Africa, here go Americas, the Americas. That bloodline was together at one time. How many of y'all seen the movie Ice Age? You had some of them over here when the land broke, some of them over here, and this is going across. Hey, brother, hey, we'll see you again one day, brother. Hey, sis, don't worry. Keep going. We'll see you again one day. We'll send ships over there to you one day, and the world just splitting apart farther and farther away. But them brothers and sisters are still brothers and sisters, regardless of the proximity that they reside in. We got to use critical thinking on this one. That bloodline is split, but it's still the same bloodline. It's just that now part of it is over here, and part of it's over here. Part of it's over here. That don't mean they're gonna stop having children. The children are still being born. It's just that now you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations down on this side, stories might get jumbled, but it's still an oral tradition that say, hey, we from over there, or they from over here. So by the time Mansa Musa and his brothers get onto the scene, they like, hey, family, remember our people is over there too. But they got split up in the days of Peleg, our ancestor. So we got to go over there and meet them. Now we got the technology in the form of these ships and these boats to go over there now. So let's go over there and get back with our family. Why do you think all of the ancient relics of the Americas, from the Olmec heads all the way down, is highlighting our people's, not only our people's progeny, meaning our people's bloodline, but also highlighting the civilization that carried over? How come it's that Africa and the Americas are the only places with the pyramids? From north all the way to south. Because the lands were together at one time. And just because the land split don't mean that the mentality had to split. It just means that the technology, have to catch up so that we could get back together again. All right. Now, what's so interesting about Africa, where we was taken from, most of us? First of all, you have to realize that Africa, especially West, Central, and South Africa, and East, I'm not even going to say specific points. The whole of Africa that's considered sub-Saharan Africa still to this day maintain Hebrew Israelite culture, both the bad and the good. But that is the only place on earth where you're going to see exact Hebrew Israelite culture still being lived day to day. Yes, Africa and South America continents are shaped alike, like they fit in a puzzle, right? Like they just fit together. If they was to be brought together, it's like they just fit. West Africa, which has been demonized by the media and which has been demonized by our own people, I want to choose West Africa, speak on West Africa primarily, because that is where you find the traditions of Ifa. That is where you find the traditions of Omenala, that are from the Igbo people. Then Ifa is where you will see the Yoruba people. Then you have Fa with the Ewe people, okay? Then you have Bisa culture in Burkina Faso, okay? Then you have the Akan culture in Ghana. All of these are very important. Then you have, of course, the Fa traditions in Togo, Benin, and Togo. Okay, Vodou. All right, what is going on? I didn't say voodoo. Voodoo is some French 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 Creole creation that's new to this continent over here. Okay, I said Bordeaux or Bordeaux. Okay, that is from Togo, Benin. Now, what does this? What, brother? Don't lose us now. I know y'all like, what's this brother finna be talking about? See, I knew it was a catch with this Africa stuff he was finna be talking about. Listen, as soon as you get out of the mental captivity, as soon as you get out that mental blockage, and you begin to look at where you from, you will begin to see Hebrew Israelite culture all throughout Africa that is thriving and living every single day. And if you look closely enough, you won't have to look too closely, but if you look closely enough, you will see, like I mentioned, the bad and the good elements of Hebrew Israelite culture right in your face. Why is it that so called Jewish rabbis every year take a sabbatical down into West Africa, into Yoruba land, into Igbo land? Why? Did y'all know that? Go on Facebook and find you a rabbi. Go on Facebook, find you a rabbi. I would suggest a rabbi that's 70s or 80s, baby, because they are more likely to tell you the truth about why they go down. But ask them, why are y'all going to West Africa every year for a sabbatical? What's in West Africa that's so important that y'all try to keep away from us? Did you know that the rabbis go down into West Africa to learn and to relearn sacrificial Levitical traditions? Did you know that? And then they take the traditions back into the so-called Levant, back into so-called modern-day Israel, so that they can keep on practicing their rabbinical practices, their Jewish rabbinical practices. Did y'all know that? Yo, TheRealTrueJu not gassing you. Go check it out for yourself. As a matter of fact, like I said, go to Facebook, find you a rabbi, and ask him why they go down into West Africa. What's so important about West Africa? And why has West Africa been demonized to so-called African Americans? Because if we see, first of all, that Africa is the subject of this Bible, and then we see that Hebrew Israelite culture and Hebrew Israelite culture in a whole is still practiced in Africa to this day, in West, Central, South, and East Africa, then we will begin to make the connection as so-called African Americans that not only are we Hebrew Israelites, but that the Hebrew Israelite narrative is true. And if the Hebrew Israelite narrative is true, then we need to do like Jeremiah 29 say, chapter 29, verse 11 on down say, and get back right with the Most High so that we can be taken from our captivity and returned as the heads of this civilization to be the shining lights that we was originally, our forefathers and mothers was called to be. The reason why we are in this predicament now is because we refuse to be the lights that we were supposed to be. Africa to this day, all over the continent, maintains Hebrew Israelite culture. Like I said, both bad and good. Now, I'm going to get into that. What elements of Hebrew Israelite culture are being maintained, you ask your brother True Jew? Sacrifices, for one. Sacrifices. The Levitical priesthood is still strong all throughout West Africa, Central Africa. Sacrifices, animals used in scriptures, not just any sacrifices either. Did y'all know this? Did y'all know this? The goat, the lamb, the pigeon, the dove, the ram, the cow is still being sacrificed to this day in West Africa and East Africa. Did y'all know this? And do you know why? Because our brothers and sisters there know through real living tradition that we are the Hebrew Israelites. Metaphysical anomalies take place every day in Africa. What am I talking about? Things that go against physics, things that Western science, when I say Western, I'm talking about European based science, will try to dispel. Or things that, for instance, when our brothers in Mali discovered Sirius B, Sirius A and B, they discovered that in almost prehistoric time. It wasn't until what? The late 1800s or mid 1900s. One of them, y'all go and look, that French astronomers and that European astronomers were able to confirm what our African brothers from Mali already knew when it comes to Sirius A and B. How did they know this? Well, that's what I would like to consider a metaphysical anomaly. All sorts of supernatural happenings take place daily, still to this day in Africa. Did y'all know this? It's not no cap. It's not no lie. It's not no fabrication. Because our brothers and sisters there are also tapped in to the ancient traditions of the Hebrew Israelite way of life. I'm not done. Keeping the oracles of the Most High. Now, what are oracles, you might ask? Well, let's go into First Peter. Now I get to bring out my First Peter. First Peter. What do I want? Chapter 4, verse 11. Let's start at verse 10. Now, you know what? I want to start at verse 9, just as a reminder to all my family. Look, First Peter, chapter 4, verse 9. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. Y'all, I said I'm going to do a live stream on what it means to truly fast. Okay? True fasting, y'all, has to deal, one of the elements of true fasting is being hospitable one to another without grudging, without doing all that. I gotta do this, man. I gotta do that. No, be hospitable, be hospitable, be kind, be courteous, be generous. That will cover a multitude of sins. And we need sins to be covered in this day, not to be covered as in hidden, but covered as in being remitted, being voided, being knocked away from us so that we can get back into our true essence. But let's go on to verse 10 of 1 Peter chapter 4. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another. That's another reason True Jew got to do this channel right here. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High. And this is what I want to highlight about Africa, y'all. Verse 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God, or the oracles of the Most High. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which God giveth, that God in all things may be glorified through Yahshua Mashiach, or as they wrote Jesus Christ in this one, but you know it's Yahshua Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen, or Ashe. Now, Ashe is a Yoruba word meaning may it be so. So be it. Ashe is also all of the essence of the Most High and everything that has been created. That is also Ashe. Okay? This is important, y'all, because in West Africa, in Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and I'm avoiding North Africa for a very specific reason because it has been overran by Arabs. Okay? That is why the Bantu migration took place. And it was finalized with the Yoruba migration into West Africa, into the Nok civilization. We're going to touch on it. West Africa primarily, where we were taken captive. And I got some good food for y'all in a minute. Watch this. The oracles of the Most High are still there. Now, who are the oracles of the Most High? Today, the Levitical priests are known as Babalawo. 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 Okay. In the high priestess are known as Ianifa. Ianifa. Okay. The male priest, high priest, Babalawo. Okay. Hey, Shalom, brother ordained for greatness. Thank you for joining the live stream, family. I hope all is well with you. It's a doozy right here, so I'm saying some things. Right here in West Africa, you got Babalawo, the high priest, high priestesses, Ianifa, and they carry the oracles of the Most High through the different systems that I've mentioned earlier. Ifa, Fa, Vodun. These carry the Omanala, that the Igbo brothers and sisters carry. Many of y'all have even seen those old slave catching posters looking for 5 Igbo males that ran away. Igbo or Hebo, right? And you see Heebo, Hebo, right? Well, those is the Igbo brothers and sisters from southeastern Nigeria. Okay, Nigeria basically broken up into 3 parts. You have northern Nigeria, where the Hausa primarily live. Okay, then you have southeastern Nigeria, where the Igbo primarily live, and then you have southwestern Nigeria, where the Yoruba primarily live. Man, I'm telling y'all, and this is where many of us was taken from. Then moving up, you have places like Togo, Benin, you have Ghana, you have Burkina Faso, where our people was taken from. I hope y'all hearing me. And if you listen to any of these people's narrative, you will see that they migrated from the east. This is why it's so important to understand the importance of Africa. Now, let me show you something. We say the East today. Oh, one more thing while I talk about the characteristics of West Africa culture primarily. West African culture also deals with good blessings of life, abundance, prosperity. That would be the good elements of Hebrew culture. But the same reasons we were enslaved, you will also see in West Africa today. Idolatry, bad blessings or cursings of hardship and poverty in the form of bad juju. Okay? You'll see these things to this day. So I'm not saying no cap. And I know a lot of our brothers and sisters who will say anything to get rid of the Bible today will say, no, 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 get away from the Bible. No, 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 it's the enslaver's book. Then they started calling them hobos after bruh hitting us with it. Yeah, then they started calling us hobos after that. What's funny about that is my mama's dad, my maternal grandfather, he said when I was 8 years old, he said, let me take these boys with me. I'm gonna show them how to be hobos. I'm gonna show them how to be hobos so they know how to survive out here. That's what he told her. I was 8 years old. He taught us how to be hobos. Wild, right? Now, check this out, y'all. One thing about Africa that's very important to realize is most continental African brothers and sisters don't look at Africa from this perspective. And neither did our ancient ancestors. And this is what's going to make it. I hope that I'm able to drill this point into you when I talk about the Bantu migration and what's really going on here and how the Bantu migration was really the exodus of the Bible. Okay. Now, we've already talked about how looking at where we came from. Jeremiah chapter 29 told us that the Most High, if we rend our hearts and go back to the Most High will lead us back to the place where we was made captive. We was made captive primarily right here. Now, of course, if you look at the slave documents and you look at the slave holdings, you'll see that only about 300,000 of us or so were actually brought from the shores of West Africa to the shores of Eastern United States. But you will see over 2-3 million of us were enslaved because we was already over in America. We had to be identified in both places. Now, what am I talking about? If you look at this place right here, which is Egypt, present day Kemet, right here. The lie is that the Exodus took place from here, and these people went up into here. Our people went from here into modern day Israel. Y'all know I had a mind to move to Israel. Back in 2015, I went to my wife. I said, babe, we got to leave. We got to leave. You know, not moving in no fear, but I want to put some, some juice, some stank on it. I said, babe, we got to leave. We got to get up out of here. This Babylon, we got to go back into the boundaries of the Most High. We got to leave. I was actually looking to move us right off into here in Israel around Dimona. Y'all heard of Dimona before? That group of us who moved to Israel from Chicago back in the 70s. Y'all heard of Dimona? Yeah. Well, Dimona is right next to a nuclear power plant in Israel, Israel's nuclear power plant facility. So when I found that out, I said, "Oh no, ain't no way we're moving out there. I'm gonna have to pick us up and carry us if that's where we supposed to be. But ain't no way we moving out there next to no nuclear power plant when the war of Armageddon is finna take place. The battle of Armageddon finna take place. We're not going nowhere by no nuclear power plant, and they just as wicked as America is out there anyway. I'm not talking about our Hebrew Israelite, our true Israelite brothers out there in Demona. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about that place called Israel today. Is wicked. It's wicked. It's another leg of Babylon because it's not the true Israel, y'all. The lie is that the Hebrew Israelite people left Kemet and went up into what is modern day Middle East. That is really Northeast Africa on their maps. But let me show y'all something. Ancient African civilizations saw Africa like this. This is how we see Africa on our modern maps. Going from here to here, somebody map quest that on Google real quick. Last time I checked, I think on foot, like going straight through, I think it takes something like, first number popped in my head was 6 hours, but it might be 12 hours on foot. It might be 12 hours on foot to go from Egypt, modern day Egypt, into modern day Israel. I think it's about 12 hours on foot, y'all, without getting lost or nothing. It's like, boom, it's right there. 12 hours, I think, on foot. It might be 18 hours. It's either 6, 12, or 18 hours. I forget. You know what? Hold on. I'm on my computer. Hold on. Y'all bear with me real quick and let me see. Let me see something real quick. Y'all can still see me on the live, right? All right, cool. Watch this. I'm tripping. I could go online like this now. Hold on. Let me see something. Egypt to Israel distance. Let me see something. 613 kilometers. Hold on real quick. Or Egypt to the promised land, quote unquote. Hold on real quick. Let me see on foot. All right, let me find a place in Egypt to actually go to. I mean, to go from, and then a place in Israel to go to. All right, I'm gonna just say, hold on, cause this funny. This had me cracking up. I just want to get the actual little, funny little words. All right, I'm gonna go Gaza Strip. Let's see, and then I'm gonna go. Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna go Cairo. I'm gonna just go Cairo. It's saying it cannot calculate driving instructions. Hold on. All right. So we're gonna do it a different way. Somebody asked on Google, how far is Israel from Egypt in hours? Egypt to Israel travel time. Egypt is located around 424 kilometers away from Israel. So if you travel at the consistent speed of 50 kilometers per hour, you can reach Israel in 8.49 hours. Egypt to Israel, walking distance. It should be the same. Somebody clowning on here. Look, Google clowning. It said the distance between Egypt and Israel is about 613 kilometers. We already said that. But it took Moses and the Israelites 40 years to complete their journey. On average, each day they walked only 43 meters. Then they say, yes, only 43 meters, almost half of what Usain Bolt do in 5 seconds. All right, y'all, look, they clowning. Google wrote that in order to throw us off and to make light of what I'm finna make seriousness of. So we see that in 8 hours, driving 50 kilometers or so per hour, you will get to from Egypt to Israel in about 8 hours or so, 8.29 or so hours, okay? On foot, like I said, it's about eight. At first I said 6 or 12. This might be about 18 hours or so on foot. The point is, it don't take no 40 years. I don't care how turned around you are, because they was led by elders. Egypt, Kemet had already been in those areas, y'all. Kemet already been in all those areas of so-called Northeast Africa, so ain't nobody getting lost. But this is what I need y'all to get. This is why we have to look at the Bible as being an African book, because when you see it the right way, it changes everything. Look, check this out. Our ancestors saw Africa like this. Now it's time to get funky. If you look at any of the old maps from the 1800s, you'll see something very peculiar. All of this region right here, does anybody know what they called that region? They called it Sudan. And they also called it the Kingdom of Judah. That was called the Kingdom of Judah on the old maps. Now, this is what they also don't show you. Down here, where we know as South Africa, this is the Zulu Kingdom. They call this Zulu. But this is also the northern or Isolele. See, when you start learning your Bantu language again, and you start going back to your mother tongue, you'll see that the real Hebrew language is really the dialects of the Bantu language. Israel and Bantu is called Isolele or Isholele. Isholele. In Bisa language, Jacob or Jacob is Yakuba. How did our ancestors? Let me cap this pen real quick. I'm about to show y'all something. Our ancestors and ancestresses did not see Africa like this. They saw it like this. I think some of y'all know where I'm going with this. This is Kemet right here. To go from here to here is only less than a day on foot. So where did the 40 years come from? Well, when you go from here all the way to here, now you start seeing that the south, that the north of modern day Africa on our maps is really the south. And now when you see that Judah on our map is right here in what we would consider Central Africa today, why is Judah on our maps considered Central Africa or the top of sub-Sahara Africa? Doesn't sub mean under, south, subway, subtraction? Somebody else give me a sub word. Substitute, submarine. Aren't all those things with the prefix of sub meaning under something? So if it's under something, how come our map sub-Sahara Africa is at the top? Somebody lying. You got to do critical thinking, y'all. That's why it's good to have this whiteboard here. We on the whiteboard drawing the black continent. You gosh dang right. Why is sub-Saharan Africa at the top of Africa, y'all? Because the people who try to control our thinking know the truth. Our ancestors and ancestresses saw the map like this. What's another proof of that? The Nile. You would think that the Nile flows from what they call North Africa down. No, it don't. The Nile flows from Kenya. The Nile flows from Mount Kirinyaga. Am I correct? The real Mount Zion, which is located in East Africa in Kenya. It is really called Mount Kirinyaga. Mount Zion or Mount Kirinyaga is right here. And that is where the Nile flows from. And the Nile flows up. On our map, it flows up. Why? Because when you go like this and you flip it, now the Nile is flowing down. I hope I'm not confusing y'all. Do y'all, somebody in the comment tell me that y'all feel me what I'm saying? Do y'all feel me what I'm saying? Somebody confirm that not only is the live stream going smooth, y'all can hear what I'm saying. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Anybody? Y'all can hear what I'm saying? Feel you. Thank you. All right. Our ancestors and ancestresses looked at it like this. Now, when you think of a Bantu migration or an exodus, don't it make more sense for it to be 40 years if you're going through the wilderness of Central Africa? You got to go through all the byways.